Hey everybody, I'm back with some more Simutrans. Um, I've been playing this game a lot recently. I took like a bit of a hiatus from it for a couple months recently to work on my Cities Illustrated stuff, which you can find on Instagram, Cities Illustrated. Um, and I took a bit of a sabbatical from Simutrans, and now I'm back. Love this game. I decided that if I am going to be playing it, I need to be like recording it and at least, getting some sort of, production value from all the time I'm quote unquote wasting playing this game. I wouldn't say it's wasting, but, you know. Anyways, so this is going to be another one of those, high quality YouTube tutorials that you have all come to expect from me. Thank you very much for subscribing and following me on Semitrans Extended. So we're going to try and keep this tutorial very concise to the point, maybe 30 minutes or so. And what we're going to be doing is where we left off at our last video is we have this main station in this outer region city. We have our big, center of the capital of the region right here, but we are here on the outskirts at the very end of one of the main train lines, which we upgraded in the last video to make it a through running service that goes all the way to the southern regions. So it's going to be a very popular train line. I'm sure it already is. And so what we're going to be doing in this video is extending and creating a new line that is going to, serve all of these other cities to the north, to go further north into the region. And we have this like big line, this cluster of cities, which is really just perfect for a train line. We can probably make one line that will hit all of these cities. I don't know if we'll finish it in this video, but I'm going to just kind of get started and show you what my goals are for it. So I've already kind of started. What we're going to be doing is it's going to start at this station or maybe another station further into the kind of industrial hinterlands of the city. But it's going to be the main station it's going to be starting from is this one, Crutchmorak Parish Hall Railway Station, which is in the center. It's connected to another station, and there's also a tram line, which I built in another video, which I might upload also. So I know for sure there's going to be a ton of demand on this rail line. And since it is 1896, that is the year of our Lord, 1896, what we're going to be doing is I think we're going to be using electricity to power this line, which is going to be really cool. Steam engines, as you know, they take a while to kind of get rolling, to accelerate, to decelerate. And so when you use the electric suburban trains, you're able to provide much more frequent service for much cheaper, and it's much faster. So where should we start? So let me show you where we left off. So we have, I think each city is going to have maybe at least one station, of course, but maybe two. I really like to add a station next to these big attractions like the cricket ground or like a church, one of the larger churches. As you know, the attractions have a range of values for how many trips they generate, and so we want to obviously serve the attractions that have a high value, like the cricket ground or like a cathedral. Some of the other ones don't really have so much value for that, so we will ignore those. Like, for instance, this fountain, it has a visitor demand of 40, so that's not very much. That's not really something we would, go out of our way to provide a service for. Okay, so what should I really talk about? So the station here, the cricket ground station, it's gonna be a single track because for this section of the tunnel, I'm using cut and cover, which means you can only build a tunnel under a road or a bare piece of land. So you'll notice that throughout the length of the tunnel, it starts here in the bottom, ends here above the cricket ground. You will notice that there's nothing but road and bare ground above it. Now later, buildings can be built on the bare pieces of land, but you cannot build the tunnel if there's already a building. The building can only be built by the city later, which is kind of cool. So that's why we have a single section right here. It'd also be really easy to just delete these little hovels and replace it with a double tracks section. But I think let's play like we need the money, and let's be economical. This is a lesson in Simutrans economics. So we will make the passing track right here, and it shouldn't affect operations very much. Okay, so how are we going to hit these cities? So we could have the track just go right here between them and then go through the middle of this town. That way it can be, the train can, or the service can be, hitting both of these cities. Or we could have it go right there, right through the middle, kind of right through the middle, and then bend around to the outskirts of this city. This is always a little bit of a predicament, and I feel like I'm never making the right decision. So sometimes you just have to wing it. So like what I really like to do is I like to use pre-existing road as my right of way. So like this. Now we will have to delete a couple buildings, but that's okay. They can always build the buildings again, I think. There's some settings in the main Simutrans like folder. They're kind of hard to edit. They're not like really. It's not really intuitive. But there are like settings that you can. Why is it not letting me delete that? I'd really rather not delete either of these buildings. So let's save. Sorry, there was I was talking about some settings in the main Simutrans folder that lets you really control how fast the cities build and like what requirements are required to build, like how much mail needs to be delivered per month, how many passengers, how many goods. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I saved it. Maybe I didn't load it again. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure this tutorial is going to be like 30 minutes or so. It's not gonna turn into an hour or anything. Okay, so see what I did? I loaded the game again, so now the glitch is gone and I won't have to delete either of these buildings. Just some Simutrans best practices. Okay. All right, great. So this looks pretty good. We can just use our artificial slope leveler tool to make a nice little pathway. Don't pull this tool out until you have like lots of money, because it's easy to just, spend a lot of money using that tool. There, so something like that. And then we can have the station like right there. Cool. And we won't bother building a post office with this station. We'll have to have a post service on this. Maybe we could build one. Maybe we'll use an exclusive train just for the post service. Okay, so now what we were going to do is we were going to swing down and then build a station on the outskirts of the city. So like here, I guess. And then we want to have an easy way to just come over here and then go through the town right here. Yeah. So that's another way I kind of like that might help you when designing your route, is just kind of like build like where you think the station should go. Maybe that's not the best advice, but that's kind of what I do. So like here, our station will be here. It'll be double track since we have plenty of room. Remember, Q is delete the roads. It's very helpful. That looks interesting. Okay. And maybe we'll just build another couple stations, and then we'll just start our service kind of, early. even if not everything is connected, but let's have at least like, maybe we'll end here at this station. Okay, and so what I want to do here is I want the track to come along here, and then I want it to line up with this road here. So then we'll do this. Nice, smooth turn. Okay, and let's see, what can we get away with here? We could build a tunnel. We could build an at-level running track. We could also build a viaduct. Now, I really like it when the track is just like at level. I think so. I'll have to delete 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. That's all right. That's not that much. I just really like the aesthetics. I think that when the train is running on a viaduct, it looks kind of out of proportion to the city. It looks kind of ugly, which I guess some people would say is like reality when building transport infrastructure. Okay, so that's what we do here. Because if we can't delete this piece of road, because then we'll have to delete these 2 buildings. I want to try and preserve those. So what we could do is build what we could do is if we build that there, then that building won't have to be destroyed. We only have to destroy this building. Okay, see what I did there? I hope you did. It's quick. All right, and then we will do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. So now let's build like a viaduct or something. This doesn't look great either. Yeah, that'll be the exit from the city. Oops, maybe I should have made it one more up. Oh well, something we can fix later. Okay, so this is. Let's take advantage of the buildings we deleted down here to make room for another station. So I'm making all of the stations 3 tiles long. I think they're going to be 3 tile long trains, probably starting with like 2 tiles, but then I want to have the capacity for later in the game. So let's build a station right there. Station right there. That looks like that's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's about 1 kilometer in between the stations. That's pretty good. Okay, then we'll build a signal box within the radius, which you can't really see the radius, so that's, makes it a little hard, but whatever. Yeah, so that's kind of how we'll have our segments set up. Oops. Oh, that worked out. Okay. I think this city will just have the 1 station right there. And then they also get signal box. We'll have signals at the platform and at the end of the passing loop to maximize the capacity of the network. Oh, and it looks like I really could have just built. I think I can double track right here. I don't have any problems with just deleting the hovels of the poor peasants that have to live in my Simutrans world. They've been through a lot. They are, I get it why people are NIMBYs, not in my backyard sometimes. The shit that the people in this video game have to put up with. Yeah, just like that. Okay, make sure we have our signal set up here. Okay, and maybe what we will just have to do is, since I wanted to make more of a shorter video, we will just set up the end of the service to be like right here. There. Oh, and you know what would be kind of interesting? So let's say that the end of the service is like right there. So what we'll do is we'll set up the turnaround. What would you call it? I don't know. The turnaround station. Yeah, that's a good name for a turnaround station. Okay. Um, right, so we have two slots for the trains to get turned around in. Then we want to use the choose signal tool and another signal tool. And we want to make sure to have one-way signs here. So they are forced to use the choose signal, but we obviously don't want to have any one-way signs over here because the trains are just going to be flipped around in here. Okay, and before I build a station there, let's do something fun. Let's build a new city, like right here, like a cool little beach town. Uh-oh, there's no bridge between them. That's okay. We won't build a bridge for now. Yeah, something cool like that. Because this is going to be the terminal of the rail line for a bit, and so, naturally a population center might pop up. If this was like anything like real life. Okay, another signal right there. Okay, and maybe also right here we will build the the depot. And since we have so many of these single track sections only being protected by a semaphore stop signal, what we want to do is have like a large reserve section where all the trains can kind of stack up in case there's any issues. Because what happens with these single track sections using the semaphore stop signals is a train could come this way and go through the station and then keep going. And then what happens sometimes is if there's another train right behind it, it will also keep going. And optimally, if there's a train waiting here to go through the single track section, and then there's a train here, what should be happening is that they should be taking turns. But there's not a way to really do that unless you use the semaphore token block signal, which I think it's buggy. I don't know if anybody from Simutrans development has any comments on that, but I found it to be a bit buggy sometimes. It's not always going to be buggy, but sometimes it is, and it's just so frustrating. So I tend to use it very rarely, and only in instances where I know 100% it will work, which are not very many. But these sections are fine as long as you have a place where all the trains can kind of pile up in case in case one train is late and so another train is right behind it and they're both using the section. So to prevent that from happening, we will just make a bunch of signals here so all the trains can kind of just bunch up. Yeah, because we're not going to have that, and we won't have that many trains operating on this line initially. Yeah, so something like that, All right, so we're just about ready. Not quite. Maybe we need one station here and then one station here, and then we will still not be quite ready, but on our way. So let's see. I just want to make this right. I want to have a parallel track right here. Okay, station right there. Yeah. Station right here. Don't forget your one-way signs. Station right there. Okay, and then one final thing is we want to make another train turnaround area in this kind of farmland that's in the middle of the city. And so I think we'll make it right here. We want to kind of build it on flat. We want to have a lot of flat ground at our disposal. Not that. Not real. Let's see what's going on. It's too high. Since we have lots of money, let's just make it look nice. Even out the land. Yeah, something like that. So even though we have lots of, so the train's going to come down this line, go to hit the station, and continue on to here. It'd be nice if I could have found a way for them to be using the extra tracks that are in this adjacent station, but and they could, I guess, but it wouldn't look very good because the train would be like doing like a 90-degree turn right here, which is not very realistic. No, I think this would look better, and then maybe in the future it can continue on, and go out of the city this way, and maybe go to this city. Maybe that would be like the final terminal, even though there's not really much in that way. There's this big city over here. Maybe that's definitely a long-term goal is to connect those two cities. Okay. Um, Signal box, semaphore, just like the other end of the railway. Okay. We'll make some low platforms and a cool little station building right there. I don't know why this pops up. That's another bug. Not very, important though. Okay. Now we will do the very fun part, which is electrifying it. Okay, so the only train that we have available to us right now is this Liverpool Overhead Railway EMU. So it only goes 60 kilometers an hour. It's not very fast. Um, but darn it, if it ain't just the cutest little train, you know. Look at it. Looks like a little house on wheels. So that's a 3 tile long train. Has a lot of capacity. 200 people, 80, 200 economy class. What did I say? Economy class. 200 third class seats, and then 80 first class seats. I'm really sorry if anyone's listening to this and really expected good production value from these Simutrans tutorials. Yeah, so like I said, the fun part of electrifying the line. So you can just kind of click on one place. It really helps if you have. I would say it's totally necessary to have all of your one-way signage set up, because if you have all the one-way signs set up, it's really easy to just click in one at the end of the track, at the end of the section that you want to electrify, go to the other end of the section, click again, and so all of the one-way, all of the trackage that is that like the closest route, the best route is electrified. And so if you have all of your one-way signs set up, it'll they'll be electrified, and then you can go from the other end to the other end, click again, and everything else in between should also be electrified. Because if you're clicking like here to here, it's going to electrify this section because it's going through the one way, but it will not do this section if you're clicking from here to here, because that has the opposite one way sign. So just to electrify this part, then just click from here to here. Click the other way. Very simple once you think about it. Maybe the issue with these tutorials is I'm making like a lot of really simple stuff too complicated, maybe covering it too much. I don't know. Okay. So sorry, I just kind of like start doing things on autopilot. Let's set up the service. So 1, 2. These are the stops that are going to the main city from this little outskirt. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Make sure you know where you're clicking if you're going in the right direction. Okay, so right here, I did not have the one-way sign set up, and so it did not electrify this section. That's an easy fix, but that's another reason why you should use your electrification and one-way signs properly. Okay. What's really difficult about the underground sections is you can't really see if there's a signal. It is there. There is like a little signal, but it's not really rendered well, so you can't really tell. There's ways to find out, of course, but it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Okay. Hit the main city and then the terminal, and then we go back. Okay. And then, so usually what pops up is the line editor. Right after you click promote to line, that'll usually pop up, but that did not pop up, so we'll just go to line management. Um, find the line that we just created. There it is. Edit line, and we'll make a we'll make the departure schedule. So for stop 1, which is the end of our line, let's have the trains leave every, I think we could do 20 minutes. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good like suburban commuter rail frequencies every 20 minutes. And then at the other terminus in the middle of the city, we'll have it also wait for another 20 minutes. And obviously the reason it can't stop, it can't do the turnaround waiting thing in the main station is because it'll be taking up space while it waits, and we need to have and there's already another service. There's already 2 services using the station, so they need to be able to go through, and we can't have any trains waiting. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now let's make let's start with 10. I think 10 trains is enough. Make sure you're saving. Sometimes it kind of freezes a bit, and you're like, "Uh-oh, is this gonna be it?" But I don't think I've really ever had the game crash when you're saving. No, it'll crash for a bunch of other reasons, but not saving. Okay. Now we'll change the prices. Let's change it to very low and medium. Sometimes when the service just starts and the train's leaving, a bunch of things will be flashing on here, and you can't change the prices very easily. It's hard to find the button. But no, that's nothing. Okay, so everything should be good. So now let's just speed up the game, and we'll watch our first service. We'll watch how it handles the route we set up for it. Follow the train. Okay, isn't that cool? Just goes through the town. Lots of people getting on board. Okay, so now we got a no route. Oh, okay, and that's because again I forgot to put one-way signs, so the electrification missed that section of track. But no worries, that is an easy fix. I don't know if you just heard that. The game just plays random train sounds sometimes, and then also random ocean sounds. That was pretty loud. I'm not sure where that came from. But you can turn off all sound effects if you want in the settings, but I only turn off the music. The music is, I don't know. I usually listen to podcasts when I'm playing this game. Okay. So everything's working pretty well. And okay, so looks like I picked. I do that a lot. I have a ability to pick the perfect number of trains for the service, and that was the perfect number is 10. just for this section. Obviously, if we extend, we need to buy more trains, but that was, sometimes just works out. Um, all right, so yeah, so we did that. Lots of people using it. Not the trains don't really seem to have to wait too much at the passing loops. 20-minute services. That's pretty good. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe what are some basic things that we could do to improve this train service? Well, the first thing that I see right here is that since we decided to not route the service through the town, instead just having it stop like right on the outskirts, it'd be nice to have some sort of transit connection to the middle of the city. And so, what I will show you is a cool trick for the trams that I like to do. If kind of has to be the perfect set of circumstances to use it. But it is really nice. So see what I'm doing? I'm making like a a line with a loop in the middle. So I'm going to have two trams running on it, and they're going to start and meet in the middle, and then continue on. And neither of them is going to have to wait very long to wait for the other tram to pass. Do it like this. And the way you want to have the signal set up is you want to be using the semaphore token block signal. And that makes it so you can have multiple stations on here, but another tram cannot pass until it's completely clear, even though there's multiple stations. Because the way stations normally work for the conventional signals is the stations also act as like a signal, which I think is kind of annoying and unrealistic. And it's not, and it does not work that way in OpenTTD, which I always liked. There's a bunch of things, of course, about Simutrans that are much better, but that's just one of the little things about OpenTTD that I miss, is I think the signals were a little bit better. But that's okay. But yeah, so now what we'll do is we'll make the middle of the city stations, we'll make two stations, we can connect them, and then one station there and one station, I think there would be good. And then on the other side, we can have one station there, one station there. We want to definitely have the same number of stations on each end of the loop, because that will, if there's 3 stations on one side, then the tram will take longer, and then you don't want to have the other side, one side longer, one side shorter, because then that will lead to collisions, not collisions, but like delays in the tram line. Okay, and again, use the one-way thing. I always use the one-way signs with the trams because the trams are, I don't know, finicky, and they will always just try and find the best route, even if it's not the route I want. So to keep them, going on the tracks, exactly what tracks you want them to use like waypoints when making the schedule, and also just use one-way signals, one-way signs. This is all set up, so let's build, set up our route, just like that. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're on the right side of the loop. We have the one-way sign going this way, so that's why we're going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at the end. Then 7, 8, 9, 10. And you don't have to click again on either side because they already have a stop there. That's where they turn around. Okay, that's all set up. Remote to line. Cut 2 of them. And I'm so confident in this new line that we will just start them both at once. See what they're going to do. That tram's going to go through there, and this tram's going to wait for it. And then they're only going to go when the other tram is ready to pass the signal. So they will only pass each other when they're both ready to go through the signal, or they'll both leave the signal when they're both ready, which I really like. And this is one of the rare, not rare, but uncommon uses for the semaphore token block signal. I think it would be a lot more useful if there was, some refining of the bugs, because it would be really useful. Because what it would allow you to do is to make like an entire section with like single track stations. So like this could be single track, this could be single track, this could be single track, Right now, that's impossible with the normal signals because the normal signals will just let the train go if it recognizes that no one is on the next track, and that's fine until eventually, if two trains are coming from either side, they'll both meet in the middle and neither can pass the other one. But with the token block signals, it will reserve an entire section. So, like 4 stations, 5 stations, any number of stations. And so another thing you can do instead of having this, wait for schedule thing is you can kind of just set the length of the schedule by making just a single track and then putting a semaphore token block signal on it. And that way, trains will have to wait for the other train to complete the whole section before they're allowed to go. And that's a technique I use a lot when I'm starting with more of a being more budget conscious. That's pretty useful and it's pretty effective actually for some train lines, that method. And then so obviously we could also just make another simple tram line right here because we want to be connecting these attractions. So we want to find the best place to put a station for this attraction. So let's see right there. Stops, and then we'll click on stops potentially within walking distance. Okay, so this station, it says, is only 5 minutes away from here, so that's perfect. 5 minutes is pretty good. I will put a station there. Sorry, I need to be narrating what I'm doing. Okay, and maybe we could have 2 stations in between, but there's not really a whole lot of... Like, I can only place a station right there. So maybe if we only had 3 stations, that might not be the worst thing ever. Oh no, what did I just do? I just deleted all the... Sorry. I thought I was clicking on the electrify icon. And of course, you need a little place to make a depot, so we'll delete that guy's house. And you don't need to do any signals on this because it's just a single track, single tram line. Make sure you mirror the schedule from the line. There. And it's just a very simple, straightforward, very effective way to bring in people to connect the station with or to connect the football stadium with the rest of your network. That's a really simple way to do it. And the trams are so nice because they don't get stuck in traffic. They just always keep going. They don't wait for anything. Might be a mechanic that needs to be kind of worked out in later versions. But it's so effective now. It's kind of like cheating almost when you get later into the game. But yeah, so that's going fine. I don't know how long has this video been. Maybe it's time for me to go, and maybe I'll just collect my thoughts and we'll make another video soon. Also, that will also be unscripted, as I know we are so lucky to be listening to. Anyways, I'm sorry. All right, bye, I guess.